All right, everybody. Spicy, I still can't hear or see anything, but I'm over here supporting. Let's all put some woovins in the chat for Spicy Boons. Add Spicy Buns and send her your woovins. You know what song I want to play on the kazoo, but I don't know if anyone will pick it up?
What's that?
Hang on. I was going for Highway Star.
I'm a highway star. There you go. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Wait. Cece, we don't have a lot of time left.
I know. It's coming to a close. Almost. Not quite there yet. Still got a couple more hours.
That's both refreshing and terrifying.
I know. We're out here trying to hit $7,000 and we only have a few hours left, guys.
Well, let's say that technically they're on pace to, well, we'd have to have $300 an hour. We're at 125. So, you know, you guys got a little ways to go. Don't start this, CJ. I'm letting you know now the end's going to be emotional. I have a few words prepared. There's a sad video.
Oh no. Not a sad video.
Even CC's like, monk. Thank you to everybody who's been watching. Like, just like really, real talk. Let's just really give a shout out to the watchers.
Absolutely.
Like, you don't understand how hard it is, one, to do this on our channel, right? Like, doing this on our channel is great in a lot of ways, but it is really hard, especially when we have to start every stream from scratch. It's not like a big channel like GDQ that they instantly get, 100,000 people. We don't stream here very often, so it's been awesome to see us maintain over 45, 50 people for almost the entire event.
Mm-hmm.
That's been really refreshing. So thank you to everyone who's been watching, who's been hanging out the whole time, because you guys help get new people in. Even if you're not donating, you are helping.
Absolutely. It's been a solid 40, on the viewer count. I've also seen a handful of people who have been here like the entire time. I don't want to name names because I don't want to forget anybody, but y'all know who you are. Y'all have been spending like this entire time hanging out with us.
Yeah.
And we appreciate it.
It is the hardest part of naming names and mentioning people, is you will always forget somebody.
Yep.
Crunchy Brown has been here a little bit. Crunchy, you're my mom's favorite host.
Apparently the ceiling rat also came back.
This ceiling rat has been a highlight of us. So if you hear one mouse, there's usually like 10.
Rent a cat. There you go.
By the way, fun fact, Quo's biggest fan from earlier, which Quo was like, "Hi, Spicy," and then and he was like, "Who else could it be?" Fun fact, it was not Spicy, it was my mom.
There you go.
My mom also corrected me that she was also Crunchy's biggest fan, and both times she corrected me that we had a Crunchy's biggest fan donation.
Whoa.
And I went back and looked, and she was correct. My mom likes
CJ out here.
My mom's like, I orchestrated getting Crunchy as commentary for the Nick run because she was like, is there no more Crunchy Brown? And I was like, no, Mom, his last shift is on Sunday. He's like, oh, She was very upset. So it's sweet. I love my mom. My mom has been super supportive the whole time. So, Mama, if you're listening, I love you. Thank you for being the best and most important mom during SpeedDocsAthon. I'm saying that now while there's some chance that she's up. And the chat loves you too. And they really understand what we're doing here, and it's been really great. My whole family has been really great. We did get a $20 donation.
Ooh.
From TGH. Thanks for having me for SDAT. Not once, but twice. Glad I could give the schedule its 2D Zelda fix. Proud to be part of it and proud to contribute to an awesome cause. Thank you so much, Tej.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing 2 runs.
Absolutely.
That was really great. So many moments. It's hard to pick. Hard to wrap it all up in your brain, you know?
It's been a long weekend, you know? So yes, I agree. It's kind of hard to wrap it all up and keep it all together. A part of me is like excited for it to be over, but I'm going to be sad when it's over. It's been a lot of fun, but it's like, whew, goodness gracious. I don't know if we can go another day.
What's crazy is that we have something even bigger planned. But we're not even at a point where we could put a dollar number on announcing it.
Maybe one day we'll get there.
Yeah. Probably next year we'll announce it.
I hope so.
I think that people will know of it before we actually announce it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. But let's not talk about stuff we can't talk about. What do you know about Tools of Destruction, CC?
Tools of Destruction is it's one of the later games that I don't have a lot of knowledge on. So I'm just basing it off of a Ratchet and Clank, which, you know, the series in general has always delivered. You know, they're all good. So I'm hoping. Plus, we know Torpedo. Torpedo is a SpeedDocs alumni, being featured in the Ratchet and Clank 2 video, Going Commando. And has been a very helpful person, very, very helpful and very resourceful part of the team. So glad to have him back for the marathon, and I'm excited to see what we get. How about you, CJ? What do you know?
So I watched Zem, another SpeedDocs alum and friend of the program. Zem had a tournament recently. In that tournament, Zem had Tools of Destruction. I think it was all gold bolts, I believe was the category.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good category. That was a fun tournament matchup, and it was only like 5 or 6 people, I think. I think it was one tabloid, Scotto, Sippy, maybe. I don't remember the people that were in it. But they would do like a best 2 or 3, and there were 3 games you could pick from. So it was kind of cool.
That was neat.
And the Todd runs were all really close and really cool. And there's one part that's kind of boring, but everything else is like really cool. Like right off the bat, it's cool.
Well, I'm excited.
But you know, we live our lives around an auto scroller, so we really can't go in glass houses and throw stones, right?
Yeah. Oh man, oh man, oh man. How about y'all in chat? What's been y'all's favorite moments from this week, from last week, from this event, right? Anybody out there in chat? What's been y'all's favorite moments? You know, I had a lot of fun during the Final Fantasy race with Breach and Silent Hero. That was really fun. It's really fun because it was really chill. You know, it was like, all right, we're going to get things set up. And then CJ and Breach and Chris all had a really fun time, and everyone was just going back and forth, and it was a lot of awesome, just fun, chill stuff, you know. And that Clock District guy's stream was really good. He was fun. I agree. Let's get him back on here. Maybe next year. Let's go Torp. I agree. Yeah, we can't take credit, unfortunately, Gaffy. We cannot take credit for the 2-weekend format. That was I believe that was NASA who did. Yes, Dayman with that, with the super save. That was a big deal. But yeah, I think the NASA crew came up with the 2-weekend meta, and gotta say, I like it a lot. You know, it's hard to come up with like a full week of programming, like literally 7 days of programming straight. So I think if we had tried to do this like from Sunday to Saturday, like 7 days in a row, it just wouldn't have worked out nearly as well. Having 2 different weekends means like, oh, are you busy the first weekend? Well, maybe the next weekend you'll be able to come by, you know, and vice versa. You know, it was a mixture of 2 different things. And so just the fact that we could do multiple weekends was really awesome. We get multiple different people on. And it also kind of gave us a break where we did 3 days, right? Then we all go back to work and we all kind of like, we're hungry for it, right? We're hungry for that extra weekend. You know, we leave the people wanting more, and then everyone comes back to weekend 2, re-energized, ready to go, and like excited for more content. So I'm really liking the 2-week format. I didn't think that I would. I'll be honest. CJ can attest. When we first thought about doing the 2-week format, I was like, I don't know. But I'm a convert. I've been converted to the idea. I love it.
Yeah, you had your skepticism, you know, but I felt good about it. I remember we figured out what we were gonna do. It was a year ago. Next week, I was talking about it. And I was watching Emily play Detroit Become Human while we were talking.
I like how you remember things based on what you were watching at the time.
Yeah, so I had that up, and she was like in this like hotel thing. And then the old biddy got shot.
Rest in peace, old biddy.
Yeah, but I was like trying to convince Cece. Well, first of all, nobody would let me do 7 days in a row. Like to nobody wanted to do that, you know, and like I was like, God, you bigger and better every year. And I think the consensus was like, when's enough and that was from JR too. He's like, you gotta settle down, gotta come up with things. Grounded. The 2-week format is solid. Shout out to NASA, we got the idea from them.
I thought it was NASA. Yep. Shout outs to the NASA people. We haven't really said it very much over the weekend, but this whole stream, this whole marathon has been powered by NASA. So I want to just take a quick second to shout them out. You know, we use their tech to run our show, and they have been very gracious and very helpful. When the stream caught on fire on Saturday or whatever day it was, I think it was Saturday night. We got Aries out of bed at like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. and said, "Hey, there's a problem." And he rolled out of bed and he helped us fix it. You know, Grace was also ready to go, and she got her computer up and running and just ready to just salvage the thing. So just shout outs to everybody on the NASA crew. They've been super helpful, restreaming and doing all that stuff. So big shout outs to them. Thank you so much.
It's time for Potato to go. Good night, Potato. His SDAT journey has come to an end.
Unfortunate. Old man Potato. Well, he's got to get up early for class. I was gonna ask. Saw a couple of people post their favorite moments. Anybody else got any favorite moments? Anything that they really remember?
Tic-tacking the stream was really fun.
That was done on accident too. It's my first time restreaming, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, hitting buttons. I learned instantly. I said, oh, that was a bad one. Bad move. Go back.
That was fun though, because it was just so perfectly timed. Like he just explained what it is, and then it happened.
Mm-hmm. Gaffy with the hot dog run. Parastrike is a blessing, you know. He came on stream and he was like, "Yo, if we raise $1,000, or if we hit $1,000, I'll do an extra run." You know, didn't clear that with us.
Yeah.
Didn't ask anybody. It was just like, yeah, you know, we're raising money. And so all of a sudden, we got an extra run, and we raised like $200 that run. And it was fantastic. Also, the Save Crunchy's job. That was a really good one. That was a good moment. Crunchy, I love that. All right, we've got some tech stuff to do. I'll leave you for just a minute. Y'all hang out here with this sick music from Squidbird, and we'll be right back. Hang on. Alrighty, folks. Not quite ready. We're almost there. Hope everyone's having a good time. By the way, I think it's time. We haven't talked about it in a while, but I want to plug it one more time. The last possible incentive. I know. Most of the runs are done, and there's nothing left on the incentive list, except for what I think is probably the most interesting one. You guys can help us choose what the next Speed Docs video is. Now, if you're new, we are Speed Docs. We are a YouTube channel dedicated to speedrunning documentaries. We do videos about histories of speedrunning for particular games and particular communities. You can help us decide what video we do next. Now, our next video is Ratchet and Clank 3 Up Your Arsenal. Right? That one's already been decided, but the one after that, that's up to you. You can choose. You can put your money towards whatever you want. We have a couple options on there for you, so please keep that in mind. I am getting the green light that we are ready to go, by the way. So speaking of, here we go. It's got Ratchet and Clank Future Tools of Destruction, 80% by Torpedo. Get ready. Hang on. All right, and we're here. Torpedo.
Hello.
Wait. Yes, Torpedo. Hello. With Ratchet and Clank Future.
Tools of Destruction.
Absolutely.
So, to start this off, this is going to be something that I'm going to dip into really quickly. If you've played this game casually, you're going to know that there's going to be a 2-minute cutscene. For runner interest, there is actually a glitch that exists that we're not going to have to sit through that at all. So, time technically starts in 10 seconds after I hit X, but I'm just going to count us in on this, and then whatever my time is, I'll just subtract 10 seconds off, and that'll be my time.
Sounds good.
So I'll just jump right in?
Sure.
Let's start in 3, 2, 1, go! So this is Ratchet and Clank Future, Tools of Destruction. This is the, 6th, 7th game released in the series? The first one on the PS3. It's actually a little bit of an unknown one, simply because this was a game around the time that PS3s were about $600. I currently hold the world record in this category with a 55.56, which I actually achieved practicing for this marathon like a week ago. Also, we're starting out with one of the hardest planets in the game. There's so much that can go wrong in this level. Like...
So,
oh, I accidentally killed one too many enemies there.
I want to back up a second. I don't remember PS3s being $600, but I guess I was also young at that point in time. So, I wouldn't remember much. But yeah, here... I guess we're going to be clipping here now.
First try, there's so many things that can happen there. You can get shot back out of the wall, you can get stuck in the wall, and you have to reload. you can get shot out at ridiculous speeds and die. That is literally one of the best possible outcomes for that. It is no exaggeration to say at least 60% of my runs just die before they start. So, that's one of the toughest splits to start the run. But that's about all that goes on in Kerwin. We skip, this is like a 5 or 6 minute level casually with a bunch of grind rails, bunch of combat.
You gonna go for slow-mo?
No.
Oh.
We're going fast here. Coming up next is my best split in the run. This may be from the sheer amount of Cabalios and stuff that I've reset, but this is going to be the first instance that we can actually move as the level's loading. So what's going to happen is this white screen here for a moment. You'll hear me thrust for a moment. I'm using this to jump a little bit ahead so that I basically spawn further in. A noticeable side effect of this is that the music's not playing at all. To explain what happened earlier, why we just skipped 2 completely unskippable cutscenes, there's a glitch that exists when I believe it is the NTSC-U digital version on an NTSC-J console, where there's specific FMVs that play on certain levels that have a specific model of Ratchet, and if it can't call the right model, then the game just like, well, I can't play the cutscene, so it skips it. In the interest of actually making this game accessible for everyone and not having to import JPPS3s everywhere, we allow the use of custom firmware to just remove the cutscenes that the glitch would take. So Cabalia is just going to be straightforward. We're just breaking a lot of bolts because this being any percent, we have no money, so we need to get some weapons. Our simple fusion grenade's not going to help us out the most, but it helps us out for what we need here. So, this fight has been routed in such a way where we get our ammo boxes at the perfect time, and I believe it's 14 shots kills them.
It's something like that. There's also, like, I guess this is the first boss that can really do RNG, but it's not going to affect that much of your time. The attack that he did right there is one of 2 that are actually pretty optimal. There in the fight, he can shoot lasers at you and all that. It's just something that you don't really see that often.
Oh yeah, I didn't make any mention before, my bad. Because, like, the run kind of starts just from the word go, like, you're already doing, like, a bunch of just crazy stuff. I'm also joined with, by Kill Lombax. He's the other top runner of this game. He actually holds the rest of the world records.
Hello.
I'm on a journey to basically sweep the game from him, but all in the name of good friendly competition, you know?
You can have them.
Also,
I'll take them back eventually.
we got the Gelinator, kind of interesting gadget casually, where you can create little portable trampolines. It just so happens these are big objects which we can use to force ourselves through a wall, plus we can use them as trampolines to circumvent, like, any of the platforming in here.
Can you imagine how scary that would be in real life if a trampoline was just, you know, falling out of the sky and then you fell through the ground?
I wish I was struck by a flying trampoline. And lived!
Oh.
So yeah, the way I like to describe this run is, it's a very busy, yet very relaxed run. Like, this run's more about managing small moving parts more than it is like your just big tech and stuff. Like, you see, the most of what we're doing is like just jumping, like long jumps. So we're gonna talk to the smuggler here. We're gonna make sure to sell that soul that we had. I almost tried splitting, and now that we sold our soul to the smuggler, that's going to be extra money for us. It's going to come in useful later. This is going to be another instance of where we can actually move during a cutscene. There's certain levels that'll load us in that we were supposed to be doing free falls with, where we're dodging missiles as we come in. Only thing being... Oh yeah, another thing is we also walk by a vendor so we can buy ammo in the cutscene. There's no free fall. I don't know who told you, But Kortog missiles are a scam.
Honestly, this game promoted, you know, like there was apparently like Halo drop sections in this game, and I don't know. I've never seen a single one. I think we just skipped them all or something. I don't know, but they should put them in places where we can't, you know, just walk around it somehow.
Hi, device guy. Bye, device guy. I don't think that's enough ammo. So we got the Shock Ravager, which is kind of like our area of effect type weapon. But it's also our melee weapon. But another interesting thing is, it allows us to fly. So anytime your grandpa ever asks you, like, speedrunning, is that where you fly through the levels? Well, yes.
But this isn't flying. This is falling.
No, we're
In style.
We're like mid-air jumping with style. But this allows us to climb into the water from the bottom. And this level's known, like, this game is known for some very, like, very dense, very busy levels. And we're what, maybe 7 minutes into the run, and we've already done 3 big levels?
So right here, as Torp's kind of fighting off these enemies, we'll get to see kind of how well he's kept his EXP route, as we should be able to, you know, right there, get our EXP upgrade and be able to clear out the first air enemy, and it allows us to progress further into that fight.
So yeah, that's why I was killing specific enemies. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's 14 stick movements I do there in the black screen. Kind of rapid, and it puts me basically on the rock, because you're supposed to kind of climb up around this and, like, zipline back down. But that's kind of lame. So we're instead just going to play a little creative. The bounds of this game are merely a suggestion.
I mean, they gave us a whip to, you know, get that little bit extra distance. Why don't we just use that?
Believe it or not, this also is not the first Ratchet game to use a whip for big jumps and stuff. Shout out to all my Ouya boys. And gals.
So I will mention one more thing. I mentioned that, you know, he was keeping up his XP and stuff throughout Kortog. We actually, for the most part, keep that EXP value all the way up until Mukau, the next planet. Basically trying to manipulate to get another health upgrade.
Oh, yeah.
But we're also trying to get some bolts on this planet, as well as we're moving around the planet to get 6 ship parts to fix a ship that we found deserted on this planet.
Oh yeah, upgrades are slow, so we pause the game.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the main name of the game of this planet is bolts, and, you know, collect the parts as fast as we can.
oh yeah, we kind of have no ships, so that's why we're collecting the parts, is because Ratchet sees a ship and he's like, oh, I have to fix it. Or fix her. Vessels of travel are referred to as feminine, so there we go. Also, we're gonna hover over our problems real quick. Clank sections are kind of boring, and I really don't feel like doing them. Oh, I actually did have it there. So, not much is known as to why this trick works, we just know how to do it. Something about Clank's time stop and slopes. Basically, Clank can fly. Which means that for, there's 3 big Clank sections in the game that we do. I lied, there's 2 big Clank sections in the game that we do. There's 3 normally, we skip one of them entirely.
I think that's kind of skipped along with another one of those Halo jumps, if I'm not, mistaken.
I have to be good at the game for that one, Killa.
I mean, you got world records, so technically.
Oh no, I just got hit. 3 health there. Maybe I can get a health upgrade and that'll save me.
Maybe. Your health upgrade is, pretty close.
Alright, so we got the 6th part. Now, we need to get back to the ship. We need to repair her.
Well,
Oh, darn, I died.
You know, better maneuver, you know.
Man, I suck at this game.
Dang.
Alright, well, we're back at the ship. That death warp was specifically to save time. This is going to be extra lore, which is apparently, like, this is an old Lombax ship. The Lombaxes were a race that got banished. Etc., etc. Coming up next is the first auto-scroller run, which I'm going to use this as a perfect chance to kind of explain some of the stuff that just happened in the run, because we are being kind of coy about it. So we're grinding bolts specifically because we need to buy us a weapon on the next level. The reason why we're able to fly with the Shock Ravager is this game, much to the ire of a lot of Ratchet and Clank runners, wall jumps are one of the most annoying mechanics in most of the Ratchet and Clank games because you tend to wall jump off of almost any surface. Tools of Destruction handles wall jumps a little bit differently in that if it's a wall jump off of a curved surface that you get some really wacky momentum, which is why we suddenly took off up on Kortog.
Gotta love math, right? Vectors and stuff.
So the Shock Ravager, as long as we're holding neutral on the stick, which I say holding neutral being no input at all on the stick, as long as we're gliding, every single time that we hit fire, we will always keep that angle, and because most glitched wall jumps send you on an upwards angle, you gain height, literally allowing us to fly. The other big thing for this auto-scroller as well is there is a specific bolt count we are needing to hit for the weapon on the next level, and that's 35,000, so I left Fast Tune with about 25,300, which is perfect as long as I hit everything here. But I think that's about all that we needed to discuss so far for the run, so this would be a perfect time for any donations.
I think they're still setting up a little bit for the next runner as well.
Oh yeah.
So.
I no worries then. So
yeah,
an interesting thing about the things in this run is these play very similar to Star Fox. So, my boy James, you right at home?
You already do your barrel rolls?
Yes.
Use the boost to get through.
We have no boost in this. I wish we had boost. So,
a little help, folks.
The interesting thing about this game is, like, a lot of people might look at, like, some specific games and be like, oh, all this downtime is, like, spread out between, like 5 seconds per collectible or something like that. The interesting thing about this game is we don't necessarily have that much downtime in the levels, but we have 3 big chunks that are literally, like, bathroom breaks, like, go get some food, something.
A bathroom break, you say?
If your name is Kill a Lombax, it's a bathroom break. If your name is Torpedo, you're too hydrated for your own good. Which, that being said, this is also, like, the nice, like, low-intensity split that you can get away with, like, taking a little bit of a hydration break. So, I'm using this as a chance to remind all of you to stay hydrated.
And then one thing while he's, I guess, hydrating before the boss. You just saw on the bottom of the screen that Torp collected a gold bolt. It's really not necessary to grab the gold bolt, but the only thing he does it for in 80% is that text box. So if you miss any of the nodes that give you that gold bolt, at the end of the level it'll pop up. You got 3 out of 5 targets, blah blah blah, and it wastes about 5 seconds. So,
well, it's basically a 3 GB run. Yeah, Fear already read my mind. So, if I had actually known to do this sooner, well, actually, whenever I had submitted for the marathon, I actually had yet to run AGB, or All Gold Bolts, which is like the sister category to this that goes out of the way to collect the gold bolts. I would have actually tried to submit a donation incentive that would have been to upgrade this run into an all-gold bolts run, because this would have been brought up anyway. But whenever I submitted for this, I actually did not have an AGB time. That's beside the point. Also, another thing we should mention, the guy firing his laser there, the ship level bosses have, once they hit their third phase, specific attacks that can come up that'll make them show their weak spot. Their patterns, though, are completely random. So, that there was actually moderate RNG because we got one laser. Ideally, it's 1.5 is best RNG because double laser actually is not enough time for you to get 2 whole cycles because you kill them too fast.
No.
Also,
right here.
We're flying again.
Yeah, that's a pretty quick skip to... Is this the end of the level, Torp? Or...
No.
Oh. Then why'd be... Oh, you got some boops?
Yeah, kind of just had to get the drip, you know?
Yeah, no, get your DS3 drips in the chat, if there's anybody out there. But
this also conveniently sets us up to go right to the end of the level. So kind of an important thing to note about pretty much all the Ratchet and Clank games, they put you at or near your ship when you finish the level. So what this means for a speedrun is, you can just glitch your way, or in this case here, literally just jump off of a wall and fly straight to the end. And now, here we are, folks, Arena Combat. Shoutouts to J-Hobbs for that legendary piece of advice. So, we bought the Shard Reaper, which happens to be literally the best weapon for this entire arena. Oh, my arena's completely backwards. But Ratchet's kind of taking a break right now. We're playing as Mustachio right now. He's the savior. He's the savior of the Flurbian Galaxyverse. Totally not a Lombax.
No. I mean, he's got a mustache. He can't be a Lombax.
And his name is Mustachio. I mean, come on.
I mean, yeah, it's got to go with his unique form. So I guess one thing I'll mention with the Shard Reaper is there are some weapons that can do variant damage when in reality they're not supposed to. The Shard Reaper is a good example of this. Those blue clapper robots that are like filled to the brim with electricity, if you have a decent Shard Reaper, you can kill them in 2 shots, whereas he was killing them with 3. And you'll actually see a couple more instances later on in the run where we have variant weapon damage, or I guess weapon IVs, if you want to call it that, for any of the Pokemon folks out there.
We did have a lot of Pokemon in this marathon already, so yeah, right at home. So we got the helipods, but we literally just have them spawn in our pocket dimension, so we can just pick them up right now before actually being given them. So we can take this to move in yet another black screen to kind of already be up here.
And that's the use of the helipods, guys. So we don't need that anymore. The only use. You'll see.
Alright, coming up is what I consider the hardest level for me in the run. We're going to get a glitched wall jump off of a surface that what we aim for and what we jump off of are going to make no sense whatsoever because they're not related. But welcome to the Apogee space station at the Nundak asteroid ring. This is where good runs go to die.
You call this a planet?
And that's why, because I was just a hair too far right on that.
Yeah, we'll see if Nundak's gonna play fair today.
This is what we like to call the Great Equalizer, and this jump is in every category.
Every category besides New Game Plus, which decides to fly over the...
No, it's faster than NG Plus too. Fear and I actually timed this.
Well, that's what I get for not talking to you guys.
So what I'm trying to do is aim off of this front face of the rock that you see me literally landing on. But you see, where I jump off of does not line up at all. but this gives us a very high bounce, so we're literally just gaining so much height that we just fly over the level. What you're supposed to do here is, like, you're supposed to have Leviathan souls that you're supposed to trade for a launch code to get down to the bottom of the station. And then from there, you fight your way through the defenses, and basically kind of just ransack the place. Instead, we're taking the scenic route. And in that, I missed the Coyote Jump. So you have a brief little period of Coyote time literally after you just charge off of any old ledge, where you can actually put in an input in midair, such as like a long jump, a high jump, or even another charge, that you can usually use for like a cheeky little bit of extra distance. So we're going to kind of do the same thing we did on Kortog before, get into the side of the water, and from there, it allows us to swim around the bounds of the level, and there's no telling what all this skips. For example, we no longer have any need for the Geo Laser. So, what's that?
What?
Yeah, I'm wondering the same thing too.
What is a Geo Laser? Did you even get that?
No.
Oh.
And coming up next is Ardolus, where we're going to put the Geo Laser to good use already. That's what I would be saying if we did get the Geo Laser. Instead, there conveniently exists a wall jump spot here. This is the perfect time to mention that this game has one of the most BS things ever about it. These cars here that are flying through the sky are solid. Their ship cycles are language dependent, of all things.
Language dependent.
Yep.
So, I'm playing on UK English right now, which means by the time that I cross paths with it, it's already long gone. On other languages such as Japanese, you will run into those. We found this out the hard way, and it sounds like complete snake oil BS, like we're trying to scam you or something like this. I wish I was kidding.
I wish you were too. Because there's a couple things that are different with Japanese language in general. The main difference being that you get different Groovitron songs. So, you know, if you wanted to listen to Courtney Gears in this run, I'm sorry, but a ship said no.
Otherwise, I was going to, but it requires you to play Ardolus literally frame perfectly to actually not get hit and go fast. So we're coming up next on our second auto-scroller. This one looks particularly hot, so I used it as a good chance to just drink some ice-cold water. That being said, you probably should too. And this is going to be more of just the Star Fox on-rails sections. So in the meantime, this is like the perfect time for donations if you guys have any.
I would love to read some donations if we had any.
I know you guys were pushing for the Speed Docs sub goal, or sub goal, the donation goal for all fishing related games.
It's something that people have been asking us, and they've been like, "Oh man, when's the new Speed Docs marathon?"
I need to find a DS2 adapter so I can get like the fishing rod controller.
There you go.
The Torp was telling me about this like before the run. I was like, is that where they dox all the runners?
Oh no.
DOCKS, yeah. We only have 2 runs left, and it's a good $850 away. You know, I don't think that people want to put their money where their mouth is. So, y'all in chat can prove me wrong.
I almost guarantee that Jack 1 will also have a run, and that, you know, you gotta catch 200 pounds of fish.
There you go. There's so many great ideas for that, but
you can just like have fishing games and fishing paraphernalia. I don't know if that's the right word for it at all, but
that's pretty accurate.
Sadly, I don't think you'll see any fish in all flies.
In 5-pound fishes.
I don't think that all flies uses the fishies, sadly.
There are poisonous eels in
Unfortunate.
No, you do. Misty. I'm pretty sure there's flies on Misty.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So you will see fish later.
So it'll be the best time to like guess how many fish there will be after like the third phase. My guess is on 91. I already called dibs on that.
I'm calling 86 later.
So yeah, we're back to Star Fox. We should probably mention that the next level in the run is a very... let's just say it's a very special level. One that you have to respect.
Yeah, no, I think it starts with another Halo jump, right?
Yes.
Or at least it's supposed to.
So I technically don't really have to kill anything here that much. I'm just doing it simply because it's downtime in the run. This is usually like the perfect time that I just kind of like to just get to chill, just kind of get my bearings, because usually on a run I've had a good nundak, which means I'm sitting here like 15-20 seconds ahead, and I'm like, okay, I have a run to go, because mid-game is not easy.
Yeah, normally, like I say, the auto-scrollers kind of differentiate where we are in terms of the run. I want to say we're probably like breaking into the second third of the run now, if not the second half almost.
I'll say we're only 20 minutes into an hour estimate. 27.
Yeah.
We better not be the 2/3.
No, breaking into it. So the first third would be done.
You see these
Gotcha.
ships? Their lights are rather pretty, so I let them live. Alright, I'm actually going to put my earbud in again because I need the audio next. So coming up next is our second ship boss. This is going to be where ship level RNG is going to come in more clutch than ever. This boss has a variance of about 25 seconds. So what's going to be the tell for Phase 3 here is if either those little pillars come out really fast or if these laser beams are really long. So we're basically into Phase 3 now. And Ironcrotch Caruso's weak spot is going to open from the top, which is why I'm already like preemptively aiming there. So far, this is looking like terrible luck.
Yeah, so once he starts doing this little sound dispersal attack, which hopefully we'll be able to see it anytime soon. This is really not good RNG. But yeah, if you see all that blue coming out the top, you know that you're actually hitting his weak spot. So we're just going to tank the damage and just hit
God,
as
that
much
RNG
as we can
sucked.
to that weak spot.
Alright, so coming up next, we're going to skip another missile section, hopefully.
I will be quiet for Torp right here, but I'll end up explaining it here, once he gets into it.
I got it. So this one spawns us really up in the air, but what I'm going to do here...
It's just Hyper Strike down.
I'll explain why in a moment.
So, essentially what we did to skip that missile section as Torp's kind of, moving around out of bounds like normal. Basically, we wedged ourselves in between a rock and some lava. And Ratchet just, said, okay, I'm in this state. I can't go into a falling state. And now we're just going to do a ship bounce to the end of the level now. And be home free.
Okay,
So-
that's good. That is good. So I made a safety save here because the way that we bypass everything in this level puts the game in a really weird spot where a ship exists in 2 places at once and no places at once. So, because we had not finished the combat section at the start, the ship is there. Because we're at the spaceport, the ship is there. And the game gets put into such a state where, because they're both existing at the same time, the game will decide upon the next refreshing of the level, be it death, reload, power off, power on, or even just a revisit. Like, if I go back to Riken, my file's bricked. Because there's no ship. Like, we can't even leave.
We're playing a game of Schrodinger's ship, where it may be there, but it also may not be there.
Oh yeah, volume warning, by the way. and kind of flashing lights.
Hey. Yeah, he spit out a lot of souls there.
Something I forgot to mention about Dino Grind there. Bull routing stops. We kind of just have everything.
You notice that Torp went from like about 32,000 to 515,000 bolts just off that grind.
I'm a little too left, I think. No, I'm not. Okay.
So, yeah, anything that we would need to buy, we now have enough money for. Especially, like, even if we were to go into, like, an NG Plus run right after this, we'd still be able to buy, like, a couple of the Omega weapons. So, that's just to put in the light how broken it is to get this much money this early.
Okay, also we bought the Nano Swarmers, which are basically little turrets and stuff, but usually, as per Ratchet logic, deployable object means something you can push yourself through a wall with. So that's why we got that. And to explain how Dino Grind works, you throw a Groovatron, which puts the Dino in a state where he has to dance. So it puts him in a specific state where you can push him. And what that ends up doing then is you're able to push him around. And an interesting thing about the mechanics of the Ratchet and Clank games is enemies are susceptible to terrain as well. So you can kill enemies with the terrain. And that's not the only time that we use it.
Yeah, just keep your eyes up on the arena coming here. You may or may not see, something dying to terrain.
And hopefully it's
Is it
not
alright if I get a donation in here real quick?
Yo, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. We're about to go fighting some more enemies, so.
Cool deal. So, we got a $20 donation from Chad TM.
Yo,
no
Chandler.
comment, but thank you so much.
The Torp's about to go into the second arena here. He's going to play a little, not a merry-go-round per se, but he's just going to, attempt to go in a circle.
This is kind of a
the
slow
best
arena,
way to
but
go
because
into
that's
an
because
arena.
I suck at the arenas. So we're also, because of how far we are in the game right now with how little health, this is a bit of a scary part of the run, because literally any hit kills us. Any hit from any of the medium-sized or larger enemies will just outright kill us.
Even some of the smaller ones, they start ramping up and, just...
Oh my god, I'm out of ammo.
damage.
Okay, so coming up next is that same boss we were being so coy about.
It is
This
the
is-
hardest boss
This
for
is
us to fight.
Zorthan the Irritable.
If we had to fight Zorthan, we would die.
Yo, the homie. So, we're gonna fight him by dying.
And Zorthan's actually repping up his favorite weapon and tools of destruction as well. He decided to mock the tornado launcher, which uses 6-axis controls. But as recently, not recently discovered, but it does a lot of stunning and everything. And personally, it's also one of my favorite weapons.
Alright, so now
Right.
that we're done here, we're going to Creeley Comet, which I actually am going to need a slight bit of serious time this. This was going to be as a joke, but I unironically actually need to hear where I'm going. Because we're taking advantage of the fact that we can move in the black screen again. I'm using this to buy a weapon. And upgrade it some, because we have a lot of raritanium we're swimming in. And if done right, I'm right next to my ship. You'll see where the weapons vendor is, usually kind of in relation to the ships, once we get here on Sargasso. So, I navigated all of that blindly. This is going to be yet another flashing lights, loud sound type warning again, because, well, Dino Grind you thought was really good for bolts. I mean, of course it is. It's also great for raritanium and souls, but
Now we're going to be tapping into its EXP potential by shooting it.
yes. So, we get the Dino stuck. Weird state of existence, by the way. And, well, we're basically getting so much health now. We're still at a point, actually, where we die instantly, so... yeah, like, that's gonna help us that much. But, the more interesting thing is we now have a weapon we took from 0 to 100 real quick. And this will literally melt the entire endgame in terms of damage output. So as long as we don't die, we'll kill everything. We're like the ultimate glass cannon right now. But because we die in a fight, I just don't want to fight, so I'm gonna circumvent everything.
So yeah, kind of that add on to that as well. Torp has 39 health right now. In like normal gameplay,
Usually
there
like
is
70
a
here.
armor vendor as well that, you know, gives you 30%, 50%, 70 and 80% damage reduction off of enemy blows. But you also have upwards of like 89 health as well, like towards the end of the casual playthrough, if not a little bit more.
Oh my god.
So
You did not see what I tried doing. I did not just try firing with R2 because I saw a fire weapon. I was not just playing Ratchet and Clank PS4 yesterday.
Perhaps I can repair its CPU.
Okay, second Clank section, by the way. So this is what some people regard to be the harder Clank section, because we're doing GGS yet again.
Everyone just pray to the Zoni right now that they're going to be compliant, assuming that, you know,
In a perfect world, we don't need the Zoni.
yeah.
Okay, in a perfect world, we don't need the Zoni here. Clarify that they are required to actually beat the level, but in a perfect world, we shouldn't need to step on them. This is not a perfect world, sadly. So, we have to use one as a doormat. I'm sorry, my friend. That's about the most high praise that I will give you. I do not like the Zoni.
A fractured vector shape.
So yeah,
Perhaps there is
Torp decided to Goomba stomp that Zoni just to get a little bit more height. Decided not to play the optional game at the end of the computer
I tried.
as well.
I just don't jump up it. I just kind of just try to ride it, but I did get a camera change at one point, because it's something you can do. So coming up next is Planet Wisseron, and, well, this level's notorious casual, because you have to break in and break out of prison, because, well, some lady named Talon Apogee is in here, and apparently she's perishing in Zordum. So,
Who's
We're-
Talon?
we're completely going against all sorts of advice. I don't know. Maybe Ratchet is like the world's best like prison breaker then. I've never seen a criminal just fly through the sky to jailbreak people.
Are we?
And then immediately transform into a completely different species entirely.
Are we getting paid to heist this joint, or? I mean, why are we freeing this lady?
I don't know.
Plot convenience?
So, you're supposed to do like a really big grind rail, like a really big combat onslaught going into this room, and then a really big combat onslaught going out of this room. This also was the spot that we would grind the Pyroblaster before Dino Grind was found to be a powerful source of experience. This used to be a 10-minute split in any percent before the days of Dino Grind.
So sad. Never want to go
So-
back to those dark ages.
Instead, this becomes a 1 minute and 40-second split with Sargasso, the revisit. Also, we died because this does not store Ratchet's checkpoint as the pirate. So, we broke in and broke out by just flying and then dying.
So, that lady you helped, she had her pistol in the cage too?
Yeah, weird prison. So, now that we're here on Verdigris, I can actually use this as another chance to kind of like catch up on what else happened, because this is another, like, one of those... This is actually like the most chill one, but also the most boring one, so I will use this as a chance to talk over it some. So to explain what all happened there, the ship bounces that we were doing there, where we were just standing on the nose or the wing of Aphelion, our ship, if you don't hold any direction on the stick and you're just aiming straight ahead, just input a high jump with the helipack and you just go flying. The same principle of the Shock Ravager preserving your momentum applies there too. That's why we were able to literally just fly across that gorge on Visceron.
I'm pretty sure you get boosted as well due
Yes.
to like the ship's changing hitbox. Because
It does
as you're
bob
standing
up
on
and
the
down.
ship, it bobs up and down. Yeah.
Ship bounces get used to much greater effect in all gold bolts because there are some angles that you can take that you just fly straight to gold bolts from. The reason why I went to Creeley Comet first as well is because upon visiting Creeley Comet is whenever the Pyroblaster unlocks in the vendor. And since we need to grind that up, that being our best source of experience, or best source of damage, that's not out of the way. Like, your best source of damage is the Alpha Disruptor, but that's already way out of the way on Sargasso, and we don't go anywhere near it at all. So our next best option is the Pyroblaster. An interesting thing to note, because of the whole Pyroblaster Dino Grind thing, interesting thing to segue, is you saw how we were able to just upgrade that whole thing in maybe like a minute and a half visit there. You can upgrade every single weapon in the game fully from version 1 to 5 and then from 6 to 10 in challenge mode off of like 6 dinos if you play it optimally. Which
It's crazy.
I'm pretty sure cut the 100% record at least in half.
At least a couple hours, you know.
I would wager to say it's like a third of what it used to be.
It used to be about 8 hours. Now it's kind of, you know, a little bit near 3.
And like we kind of just like take slight advantage of that there. Like, it's insane. I would wager to say that Dino Grind on Sargasso is the most powerful grinding method ever.
Hold on, Clank. This might be a close one.
There's, like, especially in NG+, because you can just fire one shot, like a single combustor bullet, and level that thing up immediately. It's fun. But it is one of those that it doesn't make that much sense in, like, how some of the things work. So that has been something that a few of us have been putting our heads together to make guides for, because it can also very much streamline a casual experience, too, for people coming back to this game. Oh yeah, we destroyed this outpost. Apparently the pirates are building a pub. I feel bad, because poor Rusty Pete just could never catch a break. But I feel like I've talked enough now that we've skipped, like, a majority of this level just because we've just been sitting here rambling on. But this is also going to be our last goal bowl that we get in the run.
I hope, you know, in the GDQ run, there was a rogue snowman that appeared. I don't know if he's going to appear again, but
No, he can't. But that
can't.
being said,
He
Snowman
spent all
is
his
3.
points.
Snowman's 3, never mind, I thought it was 4. But no.
He's at the top.
No, I know. I went with my tried and true one. No, what I should have done was while I was in that menu, selecting skill points as well.
Dude, that would have been funny.
You know which
what's
one I
your-
would. You know which one I would do for the joke, but because it actually messes with hitbox size. Yeah, this is just kind of us like messing around for a slight moment here because we have downtime. But with the skill points and gold bolts that you get, gold bolts unlock specific skins for you to use, and skill points unlock specific cheats, or like, they say cheats, but it's more so little cosmetic things, or like, you could have developer commentary be parts of the levels that you can interact with. Little things like
Or,
that.
if you really wanted to screw with your friends, you can mirror all the levels.
So what I was just referring there with Killa was, there was one of the cheats that is head size toggle, which
There's tiny,
There's
huge, and big, I think.
so big head mode is your standard fare. Your head is big. Huge head mode. So Ratchet's head is like at least 4 times the size of his body. It is as stupid as it sounds. And small head mode makes Ratchet look really buff because his head's tiny.
Honestly, of all the characters to get like their head shrunk, I think Rivet, you know, from the new game, has like the buffest look with tiny head.
Honestly, yeah. Okay, so I put in my earbud literally just for one specific vocal cue there. If you notice, I had my missiles charged in such a way where the moment that I can actually damage them, the missiles fired hit. The reason why I'm not charging missiles here is because it actually stops my rate of laser fire. So, the best medium to do with this is to sit in such a way where you're mashing your missile, so you can actually have the missile damage output while not letting up on your lasers at all.
And earlier on, we also mentioned that each of the auto-scroller bosses does have their own RNG as well. For this boss in particular, we want to see him drop a blue ball just beneath the skull, and that would be his weak point. We aren't seeing it just yet, because it seems like this run is doomed to have bad RNG and all of the auto-scrollers, sadly.
Yeah, Dream took all my luck, I'm sorry.
You want to see the blue ball pop up like probably 2 or 3 times. I think we might be getting worst RNG here.
Oh! Yo! Amazing, let's go.
Oh.
Apparently I took no damage in there. What a lie.
You have a sliver of health missing. What are you talking about?
We got can't touch this, so clearly we couldn't be touched.
Couldn't, but you wanted to?
Alright, so coming up next is Jacindu. Or as my good friend Devil Snake likes to call it, Jacidnu.
Or as Torp likes to call it, Yacidnu.
We're taking advantage of the fact that we can move in a cutscene again. We also just bought the Razor Claws. I forgot to fully upgrade that. There we go. The Razor Claws are going to be... If the Shock Ravagers are like vertical movement tool, our Razor Claws are our horizontal ones. And what's going to happen here is we're doing more of the this is your grandpa's speed game type deal, and we're flying through the levels. The claws, upon using them to dive down in the air, put you in a grounded state momentarily, so we take advantage of that clearly by just...
by jumping out of it.
Yep. And a high jump happens to carry our momentum. This skips one of the most notorious levels casually. Oh, well, we're not through with it yet. This is actually the most volatile part of the run.
And one thing I do see somebody in chat mentioning it as well. You actually can climb walls in the same way you can kind of fly in the air with the claws as well. That temporary grounded state you get at the end of the claw gets interrupted when you're hitting going into a wall. So you can just use it to climb walls.
Alright, so this is a bit of a scary thing because I've mentioned before that we have so little health right now that most things will instantly kill us.
Missiles included.
Yeah. So, there is a slight chance of pure RNG that the game will literally just decide that we die. My health might be enough that I can tank it, but I'm not holding my breath. It'll be right after this jump.
And the sad part
There's no missile at all. That's actually beautiful.
Right before the boss. And if we died on the boss or died on the rail, we have to do the whole rail section over again. So it ends up losing like at least 1.5 to 2 minutes.
So yeah, this shows just how broken the Pyroblaster is when it's maxed out. We took one of the most notorious bosses casually, and well...
Kind of just danced around with Dread.
Not so bad now, are they?
Some people don't even know that you can kind of fall down on that boss and like get down to the bottom where his Dread is there.
Be good, me, slag shot.
And they can actually, he can run you over. That's another thing that can one-shot you. Luckily, we don't really get too close to get to see that. Okay, Torp's tempting fate here as the mag ramp tried to kill him, but managed to claw back up with that wall climbing feature I was talking about earlier, and then does a claw into a whip to get to the boss.
I really just tried doing Rhino strats. I am so spoiled on like playing every category right now that like, okay, I actually need to hear. Just so I know like when to throw the Nano Swarmers there. Extra damage. I should be getting a health upgrade here.
So one thing that we've yet to hear from Clank, there's a specific line in the game that you're supposed to hear on Ardolus, but since we didn't do Ardolus casually, we never got to hear it. This enemy is electrified. Try using another weapon. Electrified enemies, you know, are... If we even,
that was
close. So much as touch Slag here, he can and will instantly kill us.
Yep, and Slag is a little bit more than willing to give us a big old bear hug. So we gotta mind our distance. This is Corona season after all. I say this as that I've been grinding this game literally in quarantine because I tested positive, but that's beside the point right now. What I'm here to do is put on a very good showing for you. Did a cheeky little anime cancel there that saves a couple seconds. That's a treasure map, and we don't need it because we're not collecting anything else. I actually need to put in my earbud again. This is what I needed that for.
Yeah, and here, there's supposed to be another Halo drop here.
This is going to be the one I probably miss, if I'm being honest.
Torp's going to try to skip it, but we'll see.
Nope. Alright, so this is what they are supposed to be like. We've already skipped 2 of these.
3. Technically.
Well, wait. Oh yeah, Kerwin.
Yeah, Kerwan's the one that everyone kind of forgets running the game. Just because we skip it so early on in the run that just kind of breezed over. But yeah, instead of, you know, being able to fly to the end, like we would have done if we had skipped the missiles, we're instead just gonna, you know, climb to the end and just kind of thrust our way over there.
This does show the wall climb use of the claws, though, which is rather interesting. And this is, for most surfaces that you can actually just do this on, it makes for a great tool for exploring. You can literally just try this at home.
And so, you'll notice that on Descendu, Torp bought 3 Transmorphers. You can turn the Kragmites into penguins, apparently.
These guys are pains to fight normally. They'll warp around all over the place, and there's really not much you can do about it. You hit them, they'll warp away. You hit them again, they warp away. You're usually supposed to use either your devices to immobilize them, or in the case of the Transmorpher, literally morph them entirely, making them a non-issue. Or you're supposed to use the magnet launcher, which is something that, well,
gotta catch them all, you know.
Frankly, don't have. So, morphing them like that happens to be our best option. With this, we skipped a big old Clank section. We skipped the return of the Kragmites and some other stuff. This is supposed to be a big level that like everything goes wrong in. We're also supposed to. We also just skipped Ratchet and Clank getting separated. Both of them thinking that the other died. We're supposed to be in that section is just Ratchet. Another spot we can move around a cutscene. And so, if you've played earlier Ratchet games, you may have heard of the trick Ghost Ratchet. Well,
we've got our own. Except he's not a ghost. He's kind of turned it up a little bit. He's now become a god.
Oh no, we died. Well, that's exactly what we meant to do there. Because with the Visicopter, what happens is when the Visicopter is out and active, the game stops aggroing Ratchet. He cannot be aggroed and he cannot take damage during this. Why did I take that back out? Because I need to put that back in. So, these guys are just sitting here chilling. Literally just waiting for some dude to show up.
But
So-
they can't see him because they're thinking there's a Visicopter somewhere in the level way far away from them.
The way we voided out was a way that didn't properly destroy the Visicopter, so the game thinks that the Visicopter is still active. This effect persists until you literally either turn the game off or fire and destroy another Visicopter. This persists between files, by the way. This is the last Halo drop I'm going to try to skip. I got it. That's actually the toughest one to do with sound. We normally play this game without sound, or without game audio, or without game music. Specifically because the music plays there during this.
And one thing I want to point out as Torp's kind of clawing to the end, Ratchet right now isn't standing perfectly 90 degrees. He's actually in a spot where he's kind of tilted about 70 degrees forward. And so while this bounce, or clawing to the end was doable, it's really close to being not. So optimally, what he wants to do, final boss, by the way.
Yeah, so the run is effectively over. The screen, this is not it. So now that we're here on this random asteroid, the time is going to end once the screen fades to black after Tachyon staggers. The other interesting thing with this is Tachyon's just firing over there. He's just firing to the default position of where the fight would start because, well, there's no Ratchet for him to detect.
Time will be on a black screen, by the way.
Yes. So, this melts his health bar. Like, we can just sit here and just, like, keep holding fire, and he's eventually just going to die.
Yeah, essentially,
That's game.
what
Time.
Torp did at the end of the, to do the missile skip, we didn't really get time to say it, but, essentially there's a swing shot. Earlier on in the level, we used it, to get to Aphelion earlier in the game. Basically, we attach ourselves onto that during the cutscene, and that allows us to come in at that random angle.
Yeah, so when we say good or bad angle, it's basically the way that Ratchet is on the swing shot whenever you get that cutscene. So you interrupt the freefall state that way. Out of curiosity, what time was that?
It's like 58:27 is your time.
Yo, that's a new marathon PB.
Nice. That was a good
So,
run.
World record in this game is a 55:56 by me, in which I got that about a week ago. Otherwise, the best marathon time I ever had with this game, or like this category, was a like 58:59 at my friend Marathon Man's Armed with Their Speed Marathon, which I'm happy with that because, not gonna lie, I ran this in the GDQ like Ratchet Relay as well. I ran all Go Bolts Racing Killa, and that run was an absolute disaster. We were talking about Glitch Missile and Jacindu losing upwards of 2 minutes for missing it, for getting hit by it, and it being just the game can kill you. I got hit twice. So, that was like a really huge weight off of my shoulders because, not gonna lie, I was terrified going into this one. I was worried that everything was gonna go south because GDQ's one went south.
Yeah.
So
But
thank
you
you for
pulled
that.
through.
I think the only thing that went sour
Nundak.
was the RNG and Nundak.
I died like 4 times on Nundak, but that's beside the point. Overall, I'd say that's been pretty good run on my end as well. I'm satisfied with how that went for a marathon. With that, I would like to give shoutouts to the Ratchet and Clank speedrunning community. Some personal friends of mine in there, for example, Marathon Man, Fear_SR, Dill Wingo, my good friend Chandler, Chad_TM. All of them have been like huge, like just supportive homies. The whole Ratchet community as a whole in my time with this game. I've been grinding this for a year. So I'm glad I got to the level that I did, and I'm glad that like they were some people that have really helped me be pushed along in this. Also, I probably should get out of this cutscene because I don't know if that DMCA procs.
Yeah, let's go ahead and switch over to intermission here. So, thank you very much, Torpedo and Killa. Great run. We are gonna swap over to an intermission real quick, and then we're gonna get the last run of the night. We're gonna call this marathon done.
Yo, good luck, Josh.
Yeah, Josh. Bring it home.
Alrighty.
The pressure's on.